All right. Hello, everyone. We have the great pleasure today to have yet another live stream here with our DevRev friends. And today we have Kunal Mohta with us. Kunal, welcome.
Hey, Ahmed, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you here. And I'm very excited because today we're going to actually learn how to set up sessions to go along with all the other information that exists within your DevRev ecosystem. So I know a lot of people that are watching these, they want to understand how to use AI tools and understand how to build agents and do many other things that we've obviously had live streams to discuss. But what's really fascinating is we want to bring in all the most interesting structured and unstructured data to get the most out of your AI powered search, your AI powered workflows, your agents and skills. And one of the most interesting and critical pieces of information that we think needs to be brought in has to do with the sessions, your web sessions, your mobile sessions. And conventionally, people don't think about that as information that would be useful for AI, but it's actually really useful in terms of perhaps understanding how to troubleshoot a problem a customer has, but even being able to do a feature retrospective after you've launched a feature, so you can actually see how customers are using that feature. So I could go on about the uses and the use cases, but perhaps Kunal, maybe you can start off by just showing us a sample page or a sample experience, and we can get going here.
Absolutely, Ahmed. Let's pull up my screen.
Okay. And by the way, I think while that's being pulled up, this is something that in the next 20 minutes, we want to leave you with as much information as you need to be able to do this on your end as well. So hopefully everything we see today, you're going to be able to try it out yourself. And if you need any help, you can find us on Discord.
Right.
Yep.
So what we are looking at, Ahmed, is inside DevRev, a session recording. So we are in DevRev. This is a session recording page. And like any other object in DevRev, session recordings are deeply integrated with the DevRev's extensive knowledge graph. And a session recording here is of a quick tickets demo website, and in the interface comprises of several things here, so a lot is happening. Let's break it down. The first and foremost is the replay itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to hit play here and we are going to see how it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
What you see here is the exact experience that your user was having when they were interacting with your product, the navigations that they perform, the clicks that they do, the entire flow is captured in this session.
Yep.
On the right hand side, you also see an events timeline. So it captures all critical events like page transitions, which pages were visited, click events, even experience issues like dead clicks, rage clicks, and the custom events that are fired.
Yeah, perfect. So, I mean, just so everybody understands, this is a fake website that we created for the purposes of this live stream. But of course, you can see that while a customer or any visitor actually goes and navigates that page, we are on the back end, which is what we're looking at here, able to see a full recording that authentically describes not just visually, but also through the magic of event tracking, what's actually happening. And there's some interpretive stuff going on as well, rage clicks, dead clicks, so on and so forth. So really interesting. And we must say, like, I mean, a lot of times people have this information through rather expensive tools that they may be using. Here, we're seeing that this information is available natively through DevRev. And not only that, but it's actually connected to the rest of their interactions, meaning understanding of users and customers and product and work and what's happening tickets wise. So this is being brought in a very native way and in a way that connects back to everything else that's happening that matters to the customer and the product.
Exactly, Ahmed.
Yeah.
Now, as you can see, we also have the user who was actually performing the session. Along with it, we capture critical details like the network calls and the console errors as well. So you really do have a full picture here.
So let's go behind the scenes. Show me how this is set up.
Yes. So to do that, let's dive into the code of this website,
Okay.
right? How this is done is using our DevRev's plug SDK. And what we'll do here is walk you through on how to integrate the plug SDK on your own website and get started in a matter of minutes, right? So um, for this particular website, we have the code written in React. The first step that we need to do to integrate plug SDK is go to the index.html file and add the plug.js script. Here you can see I've added the script tag. The next step is to initialize the plug SDK, and that's typically done on your root component, which is in React typically app in the app.js file.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to call the initialization function or the plug sdk.init function, which takes in an app ID. So where do you get it from? You get it inside the DevRev app. Let's get back to our DevRev app.
Yeah.
Go to
And while
settings.
you're pulling that up, obviously the instructions on what lines of code you need to add so that you can actually do this integration is all available online. We'll put a link up. Stripe made this famous years ago when they said 7 lines or less. I think this is truly a 7 lines or less experience to integrate our plug, and we'll see what the value is of integrating plug here.
Absolutely, Ahmed.
Yeah.
So we have pasted our integration key, which we got from the DevRev settings page, and that's it. I can go back to my website. Let's refresh. And here you see our plug SDK's launcher coming in
Wow.
already,
Okay, so we
which gives
basically
you
made a
the
few lines of change, and here you've got this integrated launcher experience. You clicked on it, and it looks like you've got a full experience here.
exactly. We have a full support widget, chat widget appearing here. Along with it, the session recording has already begun.
Outstanding. And of course, you can
So
customize that widget to make it appear as small, as little, as profound, as complicated as you want it to be. That's fully customizable.
extremely customizable. Yes, Ahmed.
Yeah, outstanding. So let's have a look.
Yeah. So let me just perform some activity here so that we can look at it again on our session recordings page and see that just these adding these few lines of code actually did work.
Yeah.
So I looked at the mathematics tool and hit some of the reviews, and let's go back to our session replace page, and which I have already pinned on our customizable left nav.
Yeah.
So here we see the latest session coming up, and this is the same activity that I performed. We see
Fantastic.
that, yeah. So it's instant. You see, get your replays live.
Outstanding. Now, tell me a little bit about data redaction, any masking that we're doing for sensitive information. Obviously, if you're recording I mean, it looks like a screen recording. I know it's not behind the scenes. It's much more than that. But how do you actually make sure that you're masking sensitive data?
Yeah, that's really important. We need to ensure that private information does not get recorded. So let's say for this example, here in the review section, I do get the name of the users, but I want to mask it or redact it. There are several different ways of doing that in Plug SDK. I'm going to show that uh, by a single method.
Okay.
So to do that, the first thing that I need to go do is go and find the HTML element that shows that user's name. And in my application, I have it here in the event details component. All I need to do here in the class name, add this UE hyphen mask class. That's it.
Okay. That's
And
it.
I go back to the website. Yeah, that's it. I go back to the website. Let's just quickly refresh and perform the same activity again. Let's say I view the music of the spheres this time. Go back to the fan reviews and just hit refresh. I'll skip towards the end of the session and you can see the usernames are getting masked here.
Outstanding. That's amazing to be able to see that within a minute. Outstanding. And you can see that. I mean, obviously, you can have anything masked. It's just an annotation away.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it. And what about like you talked a little bit about users. Obviously visitors to web pages, and we could easily have shown this on mobile as well. That's the valuable part about this is that we're not leaving mobile alone. This is on all surfaces: Android, iOS, web, so on and so forth. How about logging in? So you've got users that are going to be anonymous, and then you've got identifiable users. Like, tell me how you're tracking that information, and how does that make its way into the product?
Correct. So right now, you see that the user which is captured in this session is an anonymous user. And my demo website does have a login feature. So what I would ideally want is when a user logs in, the, their identity is actually linked with my session. And that is also pretty easy to do with the plug SDK. So let's dive into the code again to look at how that is done.
Yeah. So while you're pulling that up, I mean, so far what we did was we made a couple of code additions so that the plug launcher became visible and the session recordings were enabled. We talked about how you can go into the settings and customize that launcher experience and customize other elements of the experience. We also talked about being able to use annotations to do redactions. And now we're going to look at login behavior.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how user identification works with DevRev's plug SDK is with something called a session token, which we create for our Rev users or your contacts, right? And the session token is created using an auth tokens.create API, which I have already configured here on my backend. All I need to do is when the login function is called, I need to return this session token and reinitialize plug SDK, which is in my website being done in this login component. I can just uncomment this and hit save. Let's go back to our website. And this time I'm going to actually log in.
All right.
Let's perform some activity here again. Save the first concert this time. And let's refresh here too. And
All
yeah,
these concerts are making me excited about going to a concert. I don't know.
right, Ahmed. Here we can see the latest session now actually has the user identity captured.
Amazing. What I love about this feature is that because our system is so horizontally integrated, I mean, it's getting information from here. We're talking about sessions, but we're also bidirectionally syncing information from Salesforce and ServiceNow and Zendesk and HubSpot and so many other systems, Luma, Gainsight. All these systems have this concept of contacts, prospects, right? And these entities, these identities, you need to have a first class identity and access management layer. You also need to have a first class system of record that can actually record and persist this information with the right attributes and the right access controls and everything else. And here what we're seeing is that as these logged in identities are being recorded, that information reconciles itself with all of those other sources of information. So you can say, you know what, this person from this contact, from this workspace, from this prospect, from this company, and that relationship is super profound. Of course, it makes its way back into like the analytics you do, the search and the workflow, everything else that's happening.
Absolutely, Ahmed. That's the magic of DevRev's knowledge graph.
Yeah, I love it. Where do we want to go next from this? I mean, we've looked at the identification. Do we want to look at maybe a specific use case, maybe a support use case?
Yes, let's do that. Let's see how
Okay.
you can leverage sessions to actually solve customer issues faster. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to again use the login user flow, but here I'm going to use a different email. And what I see is I faced an error. What do I do? The first thing that comes to my mind is talk to someone from the talk to someone from support, right? So I go open up plug chat, send a message. Hey, I am not able to log in. As soon as I hit that, I hear a notification pop up on DevRev.
Yeah.
And
And of course, this
clicking
is
on
the
it,
reason this is happening is because you're sort of pretending to be the customer and the customer success person.
exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So when I tried to log in and I sent a message as a user, now I'm inside DevRev and trying to solve this issue, right? I'm a customer support agent now. What do I do? Um, on this conversation, here I see some sessions are being linked here. Let's check one of them. And let's try to see what kind of error the user might be facing. And in the console tab here, I directly see what the error user experienced. And it was a 401 error, which I know in my application means that the user has not signed up. So I can
Wow.
just simply say, user, um, please sign up.
Wow.
And
I
I
mean,
can resolve issues in minutes.
I mean, the fact that this automatically related this information, so you're having a conversation with the customer. That conversation could easily become a ticket, and the conversation is already tied to the session information. So you don't have to go hunting. So you're actually even the discovery is really one click, which I really love. And the fact that the problem diagnosis is quite that simple, just based on the usage, that makes a lot of sense for support. I mean, you can start to build on this a great many automations as well, right? You can basically start to build an automation that says, okay, if there are certain types of issues that continue to happen based on conversations we're having with customers or tickets that are being filed by customers that are related to sessions that are manifesting with these types of experiences, then maybe you even want to escalate that to create an incident, or perhaps you want to do more of a broadcast to a series of customers to say, a specific part of the website or a specific part of the app experience, or just a specific feature that they've purchased is just not supported well right now, and maybe they can have some sort of a mitigation strategy around that. So there's so many different things that can be done with this type of seamless integration.
Yes, possibilities are simply endless.
Yeah. That's on the support side. But I mean, of course, a lot of times when people have session recordings, they're thinking about the experience, like customer experience type things, product experience type things. So maybe we can look at like a user drop off analysis or something that's more experiential. Maybe you can walk us through something there.
Yes, Ahmed.
Yeah.
So, in my website, one of the most critical user journeys is that of booking an event, right? So, there are several steps a user performs from opening the session events page to viewing an event's detail, going and selecting a seat, and to completing a payment,
Yeah.
right? So, how I want to optimize this journey, and how do I do that using sessions is something called user funnels. Let's take a look at our funnels, right? I already have an event booking journey funnel created here. Let
Hmm.
me show you how the building experience looks like.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, this is our funnel builder. Here, all we need to do is specify the specific steps that are involved in this journey. So I have my event page viewed, details viewed, etc. All these are custom events that I have fired from my website already. And just to take one of these as an example, let's view how the events page viewed example event has been configured. So I'm back in my code editor right now, and I see that using the plug SDK's track event method, I can fire any custom event that I want for any action. And that's how it has been done for all our events in this event booking journey. What the funnel builder also has is something called date range, which you can use to specify how far back in the past you want the funnel to be created on. And there is a conversion window, which means how many days does a user have to complete the journey, going outside of which they will be considered as dropped off,
Hmm.
right? So that's our funnel building experience. Now let's take a look of how the funnel looks like when it's built.
And
So this is our
people who are thinking about product marketing or demand gen or even just thinking about product engineering, obviously creating funnels is something that you're probably familiar with, and I think this is a really good tool for even developers to have in their back pocket if they want to actually do some ad hoc analysis of how the feature is doing in production and so on and so forth. So incredibly valuable. Let's have a look at the details here.
yes. So what we see here is step by step how many users performed each step, how many of them converted from one step to another, and how many of them dropped off. And in my journey, I'm seeing that between second and third step, there's a huge drop off. So, how do I go about analyzing this? That's also one click away. All I need to do is click on the dropped off area, and it will drill me down to the list of sessions that happened in that drop off region. So, I know exactly which sessions to look at to know what are the users experiencing, where I can optimize and make this journey successful.
I mean, that's so intuitive because as soon as I was looking at that graph and you can see the hover experience, the question that naturally comes to mind is, listen, what's the drill down experience? Because you're seeing such a step function drop off. Now, what's the drill down experience if I click on that segment? And it's exactly what you would want. It's ability to actually look at sessions where that drop off occurs, and you're able to just click on it. I think sometimes when people are thinking about creating access to data, they think about how they would search for something. And what I like here is that you're actually able to search for things by just doing a single click. By actually clicking on a conversation, you can see a session associated with it. By clicking on a drop-off funnel report, you can actually see the sessions that are related to that drop-off. And that makes it so that this information is incredibly discoverable, incredibly searchable, just with sort of very intuitive interactions, which is quite nice. Maybe we can click on one of these, see what's going on.
Yes. Let's click on the first one. Let's see what might be happening in the journey. So user opened the list of sessions, clicked on one of them, and looks like it took a lot of time for this page to load. That is why users are not going to the booking page. It
I
seems
love it.
like I need to optimize my APIs.
Yeah. And anybody who's actually creating, whether it's a web page or mobile app or any other experience, they have a specific outcome, right? And the funnels are often related to getting to the outcome. And there's some steps towards that outcome. And oftentimes you're trying to figure out how to reduce the number of clicks, reduce the amount of navigation, the amount of hunting and pecking that you need to do, as it were. And that's how you decide on the steps. And at some point you have to evaluate to say, is there a step that is creating so much friction that I don't get to the outcome? Right. And I think this is a way for us to, in 5 minutes or less, to actually see that in action, which I absolutely love. Thank you, Kunal.
Yes, this is really critical for product-based companies.
Absolutely. I mean, this is how you connect deeper to what it is that you're shipping and how the customers are actually using that experience. Let me ask one more thing, because we started to see some graphs here. Obviously, the chart that you just showed us that we clicked into, the drill down experience. But just more broadly, obviously with all the analytics capabilities that we have in DevRev, how are we taking advantage of that when it comes to this session information? Is there a more broad dashboard overview that you can give us?
Yes. So let's go to what we call session analytics dashboard, and which is a carefully collated set of metrics that come out of the box as you start using sessions. So you don't really need to configure these metrics or define these metrics. They are there ready for you to evaluate and
Yeah.
get the benefit of.
Yeah, and as you walk us through this, I just want to remind people this is sort of a fake organization that we've created for the purposes of the demo. So it's not going to have quite the rich, information quarter by quarter that a real company would. But walk us through some of these widgets, because there's just a lot of profound information here.
Yes. So we have divided our metrics into three tabs, namely web, networks, and events. The first tab gives you a broad aggregated overview of how your website is performing. So it tells you the number of sessions or the unique users or the percentage of rage clicks, dead clicks, and a trend line of per day how many sessions are happening. So you can actually see how your website is growing. And most of these widgets are drill downable. So for example, I see pages that have dead clicks. I can just drill down there and see sessions for them as well. So
Wow. And
talking
this is
about
all out
the
of the box. I mean, nobody had to actually set this dashboard up. This is an out of the box dashboard, and the information is going to get populated without having to do some very specific data warehouse hacks or anything else.
yes, that's the beauty of it. This is what we call stock dashboards, um, but we still have the ability to create custom dashboards. So we still have all the leverage that we have from our analytics platform, where we have these data sets available. And if there is any custom metric that you want to track, you can just go ahead and create that as well. But this is what you get out of the box without any effort.
Mm-hmm. And I think we'll probably have to have a subsequent live stream where we talk about setting up custom dashboards and what that looks like. But there's an entire experience where you're able to create what we call reports, and those reports can have a great many events, that you can track. And there's a whole slew of visualizations that we offer out of the box, whether it's bar or pie or many other sort of types of visualizations, as you would imagine. Anything in particular here that you would want to click on and just kind of show us the drill down experience?
Yeah, I think a good one would be in the networks tab, where we see the slowest APIs, erroring APIs, or the most popular APIs in general. So here I see that one of my APIs is having a very high latency. What I can do is directly click here and I get all the sessions that have had this API, and I can see exactly where in the journey that API was getting called and causing a lot of friction for my user. So this particular place, as we can see, the loading screen just keeps on going.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my longest running API, which I can also find inside the DevTools experience.
Okay, let's have a look. Which one is it?
This one, it took 12 seconds, which is very bad.
That is indeed. This is pretty incredible. I mean, I hope people are paying attention to just the level of sort of care that we put into this stock dashboard, because you're not having to do any effort to actually get that insight. And those insights are incredibly valuable. Each and every one of those tabs and widgets that we looked at tells a story of something that matters to the end customer and to the product that you're serving. And so to be able to kind of have that out of the box, you don't have to go create change data captures. You don't have to go, figure out how to create a document or an object model or how to aggregate information. You don't have to actually go create very expensive queries that somebody has to sit down and build. This is coming out of the box. And of course, if you have events and if you have data that you want to track as separate widgets, the customization that you have at your disposal, which we did refer to and we'll probably discuss in a separate live stream, is quite valuable as well. Thanks for showing that to us, Kunal.
Yep.
Okay, so we've seen everything at this point. I mean, we went from talking about an experience from the website that can collect session information and how you would actually initiate that. We talked about the code editor setting up those 7 lines to be able to give you that experience, and then you can embellish that with being able to annotate and redact content. You can actually create a relationship such that logged in experiences can be tracked as such. We talked about how this can be connected to a support scenario where conversations and tickets that are associated with customers have related sessions, and you can actually do some really good troubleshooting with a single click. We then went over and looked at the funnels experience, which allows you to actually define user journeys and actually see where drop-offs happen and to actually understand how your product is doing from a frictionless experience. Then we got into the analytics of it all to look at what the stock data looks like, and then of course the ability to customize that at will. Is there a call to action maybe from your end, Kunal, from maybe the audience, people who are watching this live or maybe watching it later on YouTube?
Yeah. So good news for our viewers is that we have this demo website running live. Our viewers can get access to this by joining our Discord community. And not only the website, but also the devog. They can just play around with the data, record any number of sessions that they want, see how the metrics change, and debug issues.
I love it. And what I love about this is that not only is this available through these conventional surfaces, so you can actually watch the recordings, you can have it be related to the rest of your system of records. So being related to customer conversations or being related to customer tickets. You can also, have funnels being defined and persisted and then analytics on those funnels. But you can actually start to do some very profound things. I mean, if you're starting to use this experience to launch features, you could actually do a feature retrospective, a 30, 60, 90-day retrospective, and actually watch sessions that are deeply connected to the specific feature that you launched. And so just as we were able to create these relationships with support tickets, you could do something similar with, let's say, stories or features or capabilities, enhancements that were released to the customer base or to a cohort, which is super valuable. So, I mean, the use cases are endless. I think there's a lot more that we could show maybe in the future. And what I'd like to do is say, like, let's not stop the conversation here. If you're watching this and you're excited about how this plugs into a larger sort of AI horizontal strategy that you're kind of trying to build within your company, within your business, meet us on Discord and we can carry on this conversation. We'll put in the link for Discord. We've got a question here. Does DevRev plan to support traces logs to complement the observability acquired through sessions?
Absolutely. Yes. So I think a couple of sessions ago, we had Drumil here who was talking about our native observability platform. We
Yeah.
definitely do want to link sessions back to our traces and going right from the problem that happens on the UI to exactly the line of code or the trace that or the log that is present in your backend is extremely powerful
Yeah.
to debug issues.
I'm looking forward to that. Maybe that's the next time you come visit us is when you have that to show us.
Yeah, absolutely, Ahmed.
I love it. So look, we're done with our half hour for today. Appreciate everybody who's watching this live and folks who watch this later on YouTube. We'll put a link to our Discord community as well. Thanks again, Kunal. This was a pleasure, and we'll see everybody next time. Take care.
Thanks a lot, Ahmed.
Bye.
Bye bye.
See you.